Hi guys, welcome to another episode on the enterprise infrastructure basics and the developer series. In this episode we want to look at TCP IP suites, and that's trying to focus more on IP addresses. So the reason we are looking at this is because as a developer, most of the time you don't really want to familiarize yourself with networking. You believe that it's only code, algorithms, data structures, design patterns, but when you start probably as a backend or even probably the front end too, you start doing some API integrations and connectivity, you do realize that you need to know some bit of TCP/IP, and also you need to understand IP addresses. In this course, we want to look at things as a developer, or what should really concern me, or what concerns me as a developer. So I'll just go straight into it. And before I proceed in the film, I'll say that don't worry about the order, and just follow and try and get the understanding. So most of the time when you have a computer network, the purpose of you having that computer network is all to share data. That's the basic understanding. And the reason is that if I have a device here and I want to share information with this device here, there has to be some connectivity that has to be established. If not for that, I'll have to physically move from this place to that place to get that information to that person, which is going to be a lot of work. Just imagine there's 7 billion people in all this world. If everybody wants to share information with each person, you have to pick transportations of different kinds of forms to just share information to one person. So it's not the best. So we want to do that with the help of networking. So networking just helps us to share that data. And some of the terms that are in the networking domain are host. So the host is any device that wants to send or receive the traffic. So when you talk about the host, if you have a mobile phone and if your friend has a laptop, all of us, we all have a host. In other words, our devices are host, because if I want to send information to you, I use my host. If you want to send information to me, you use your host. So each device on the network is a host. Okay, so we've understood host and we've understood networking. And the next one we want to probably understand is also IP addresses. We understand that because we are in a community whereby we've established a network. In other words, the network is just a way of grouping all of us with one mandate or with one objective. If all of us are in that community, how do we identify everybody in that community? So we have to have some form of labeling or numbering or scheme to do that, and that's IP addresses. So the IP addresses is just the identity of each device on the network. So if we have a community, especially if you live in Beverly Hills or if you live in Ghana here, Trasaco, everybody living in Trasaco has an identity or has an address. Now even in my country, Ghana, now they've also made a digital addressing scheme whereby irrespective of where your house is, you can have an address to your house. So you don't need to have, let's say, probably some of my houses are in Ghana, we plot and a block. It's a whole lot, but this addressing scheme is free. You just get the addressing scheme from where you live, and then it becomes your digital address. So everybody has to have an address. So the IP address is just for us to be able to identify each host on the network. Alright, so we've understood that. Now going into the code frame, I want us to first of all jump to our labs and look at something. So we've understood host, we've understood network, we've understood IP addresses, which is very okay. Don't worry about the complexity of this diagram. It's just there for pictorial reasons. So once you capture this, you'll be okay. So my computer, for instance, I have connected to the internet, and the way I've connected to the internet is with a router, and that router is an MTN router. That MTN router is my internet service provider. They are the ones going to give me the internet to interact with the web, or to even share this data or this information I'm having on my end with you. So If that one is not there, I can't do that. So before we look at the next slide, let's look at this labs. So if I go to command prompt now, I've just explained IP addresses, and I see that my device is a host. So if I do host name, I get the name of my device is a host. Because it's a host, I have an IP address, and I have an IP address because I'm connected to I want to talk to you on the internet. The IP address for my machine is this IP address, and it's coming from wireless LAN adapter Wi-Fi, because as I explained earlier, I'm connected to the internet, or I'm able to get to the internet via MTN, my internet service provider, and they give me a router to do that step by step. Alright, so this is the IP address that I have. So now you understand that I've been labeled with an IP address. If I do have another device on this network, this device is also going to have its own IP address, and the reason is that it's also connected to my network, or the network I've established on my end. So it also has its own IP addresses that, or its own IP address that it's going to be identified with. So if I'm going on my phone right now, so let me go on my phone. My mobile device is also connected to the internet, so I'm switching to my phone. Okay, so this is my phone. So my phone is also connected to the internet because I've established Wi-Fi for it over here. So that's the Wi-Fi. So if I go here, I click on Wi-Fi, it is connected. So it's also connected to the same network on my computer. If I go ahead and I try to find the IP address for this, you realize that the IP address that I have for this is different from what I'm using on my laptop. So this one is 192.168.0 and 150, but my laptop one is 192.168.0 and 162, which proves that all the devices have been given an IP addresses, and that is being assigned an IP address. Alright, so we are okay with that. So now we do accept that our phone is a host now. So I think that's okay.